This government can't go bankrupt because we can print our own money.
It obviously begs the question, why exactly are we borrowing in a currency that we print ourselves? I'm waiting for someone to stand up and say, why do we borrow our own currency in the first place?
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets, some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do? They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Because they sell bonds and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah, so there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to, I guess I can't really talk. I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, cause it's like, the government clearly prints money. It does it all the time, and it clearly borrows. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this debt and deficit conversation. So I don't think there's anything confusing there.
I got some clothes. I got some jewelry. The rest I got tied up in investments. I ain't got nothing else.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail. More importantly, you saw the clip. This is why I say America is incompetent. Whether, let's just say this is a real interview or even if it was a spoof, people will consider it real, right? And I'm not saying it's a spoof. But time and time again, it's people in higher positions in America prove that themselves and their circle of the most powerful people are incompetent, or the smartest people in the room are incompetent. So let's just go back and say a few things. You see now that the cost of living has risen significantly, right? And you have people who want to make a profit off of the cost of living. But they don't grasp the regular concept of, if people can't afford it, they won't even try to buy it or to try to put themselves in a financial situation to maintain it. So you see this in the car market, you see this in the house market, you see this, just in general with inflation and even the cost of groceries. Just because you raise the price of something and when it was cheaper, people loved it, does not mean when you raise the price, people are going to continuously buy it. That's dumb. But time and time again, people in higher positions prove themselves to be dumb. Because I think people are out of touch with reality, and they're out of touch with the human element, and they're out of touch with decisions. I remember, I forgot, I had this clip of a congresswoman talking to, I want to say, Jamie Dimon. And she was using a Chase employee's income versus the regular cost of living, and asked Jamie Dimon how would he financially in the numbers make up the difference, and the clip was like he couldn't do it. But this is the point. Think about it in this way also. America has this issue with China, and I brought this up before. But American companies didn't want to pay American citizens a higher wage, so they took their companies to China, gave China their built factories in China, or bought the factories that were there and retrofitted them to whatever they were making, trained the people in China because it costs less, right? Worked them to the bone, let's not get it twisted, which caused dissension and caused them to say, let's just use our training and these tools these Americans bought for us and make our own stuff. Make knockoff stuff, make our own stuff. And now you have people in America upset at China, like, oh, China makes these terrible products and these cheap products. No, they make the products you gave them. You gave them the blueprints, but you didn't want to pay Americans, so now you want people to complain because you're incompetent. When it comes to the national deficit, the debt that America holds, it's based in incompetence. You get what I'm saying? So it's based in this idea that, oh, America's the superpower. It's the number one country in the world. We've always been number one, and which really wasn't true, but whatever. And it was one of that the sun will never set on America type situations. And because of that, you had a bunch of people asleep at the wheel. Think about it. Which created a situation where people said, hey man, this is not going well. And people go, oh, it's okay, we're America. And now the deficit is so ridiculous that all of the smart people have no concept of how to fix it. All of the people in power have no concept how to fix it. What they think is, what we're going to do? We're going to overcharge the American citizen and profit like hell. And it's like, oh, okay. Let's see how that works. That's why you see a lot of businesses going out of business, or they keep raising the price of their product to keep up with the profits that they used to have, or to break even, and you're going to wind up with less and less and less and less customers, and then bada boom, bada bing, you're going to go out of business. But it's incompetence. Let's just take the ideology that people used to use of corporate, people on the top level of the corporate ladder. Business deals are made at golf courses. You mean to tell me you make your business deals where you're playing a sport normally that you drink alcohol and smoke cigars and cigarettes with? No wonder why you've been making bad deals. And gamble, by the way, and gamble. See, when people don't when you golf, a lot of people gamble, they drink, they smoke, try to flirt with the girls on the golf course, So this is where the movers and shakers decide to make decisions that affect people's lives. No wonder it doesn't work out. Now, expounding on the incompetence. This is why you saw a lot of companies go under, from that Enron era to now, right? Because people were just scamming. Just like right now, people, not right now, but it's in the same time period as I'm making this video. People were talking about the Somali scamming. And I've said time and time again, were they wrong for scamming? Absolutely. Is it stealing from taxpayers? Absolutely. But if they've been stealing this long, how long do you think the white people have been stealing? And paying people off and getting kickbacks. They still stealing. But this concept that the guy was talking about in the video about, you know, paying, if the debt is in American dollars and we print American dollars, even though that's the concept of inflation and hyperinflation itself, if we print money just to pay off the debt, it creates hyperinflation because the budget isn't balanced. So you're paying a debt with credit on top of credit. You get what I'm saying? Which means you got to pay super interest, common sense terms, right? Now, that's the same issue with the car market. Now people aren't buying cars because, you know, they become so super expensive and super unreliable at the same time, but more technologically advanced, which doesn't help you if the sucker don't get you from point A to point B. You know, that's the stupidity we were talking about, the incompetence we were talking about, to the point where, you know, car lots and used car lots got to slash prices because cars been sitting on a lot for years. It's the same premise going back to the real estate concept. You know, you got these companies buying homes, excuse me, buying subdivisions, wanting to rent homes in the future, but you don't employ people. A lot of these businesses are looking to fire people, and it's not one of, and it's one of those situations where, you know, there was a time where people either, you know, pushed older workers out the door for younger workers because they were cheaper, to now you're going to push the older workers out the door and fire the younger workers and try to replace them with AI, but still continue to make a product that nobody, if the vast majority of you businesses keep operating in this framework, you're creating the products that the American public is not going to be able to afford. So you cutting off your nose to spite your own face, which brings me back to the concept of this is how stupid people really are. But all because I'm rich, and a lot of these people aren't rich from their intellect, from their ideas. They're rich from networking. That's the concept of the phrase. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Who you know has put a lot of people in top positions, and these people were idiots. So now it's the concept: if I could climb up the social ladder, I can get to a position I'm not qualified to be in, and just get a golden parachute payout at the end of the day and run stuff into the ground. To me, that's the premise of venture capitalism. So the capitalist country is basically not capitalist anymore. It's venture capitalist, which means we just gonna acquire this and bleed it dry, fire everybody, and run off with money at the end of the day. That ironically, you think you're going to live a great life, and the same people you screwed at some point are going to hunt you down. And you idiots don't see it. Let me say this and then they get out of here. Same thing with the American healthcare, right? This is the incompetence. Yo, people would like to live a long, healthy life, and have good access to healthcare can help that. But the vast majority of America made a decision that, well, if those people are going to get health care too, I'd rather die prematurely. And now, whatever. It is what it is. But it's incompetent. But I'm leaving on that note. Tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Peace.